The movie opens with a narration saying that people hardly ever let you know who they really are. Even the serial killers live next door to somebody. In 1984, in the small town of Ipswich, we meet a 15-year-old boy named Davey. Currently, he is spending his summer vacation working part-time as a newspaper delivery guy. While putting a newspaper in his neighbor's mailbox, he reads the news of a missing teenage boy, when his neighbor, a middle-aged man named Mackey, takes the newspaper from him. Mackey invites him inside for payment, and mentions that he also needs help moving some things around. Hearing this, Davey heads to his neighbor's house, where he receives the money. He also helps Mackey move a piece of furniture in the basement. The basement is very creepy, and Davey notices a padlocked room, which spooks him out a bit. Following this, Mackey takes him to his dark photo printing room, and reveals that he has recently developed a hobby of photography. He learns that Davey is 15, comments that this is the perfect age, and wishes he could freeze him at this age. In the evening, Davey is playing a game called Manhunt with his friends, when he notices a curly-haired boy in Mackey's house. Later, he hangs out with his friends, Tommy, Woody, and Faraday, at Tommy's treehouse. The boys look at some adult magazines, and fantasize about a girl named Nikki, who used to be Davey's babysitter. Davey then tries to discuss the recent series of missing kids in their town, but his friends don't seem interested. The next evening, Davey takes binoculars and peeps into Nikki's room, which is just across the street, but he can't see her. Just then, he hears his dad talking to someone. It turns out Davey's dad is a news reporter, and Davey learns that the cops have received a letter from the killer, whom they call the Cape May Slayer. The killer has admitted to killing 13 children over the last decade. Hearing this, Davey immediately passes the information to his friends, and soon discovers that the information has already been broadcasted. The killer has confessed to killing 15 people, including 13 kids and 2 adults. The police believe the perpetrator is a white man aged 30 to 40 who lives alone, and always targets teen boys. Afterward, Davey summons his friends and tries to discuss the Cape May Slayer, but they take it as a joke. He says that the killer could be targeting them as well, but his friends don't think so, as Cape May is a pretty big area. The boys then take binoculars and peek into Nikki's room, where she is undressing. Moments later, she turns around and sees Davey. The next day, at the library, Davey and his friends search for information about the missing kids, and look at their pictures in the articles. Later, while at home, Davey notices a picture of a missing child on a milk carton. He quickly recalls that this is the same curly-haired kid whom he saw at Mackey's house a few nights ago. Because of this, he begins to suspect that the infamous Cape May Slayer is none other than Mackey. Davey also mentions the secret padlocked room in Mackey's basement. Here, Tommy reveals that his brother, who works at a hardware store, frequently sees Mackey buying like 100 pounds of dirt every week, which he claims is for his backyard garden. Davey thinks this doesn't make sense, so he reminds his friends that the suspect is likely a white male, late 30s to 40s, and lives alone. Eventually, the 4 agree to investigate Mackey and gather evidence against him. Over the following days, the boys begin to monitor all of Mackey's routine activities. They eventually decipher his schedule, and learn when and what he does throughout the day. They discover that Mackey leaves home every night at 11 p.m. to go jogging for an hour. One night, while he is away for a run, they try to take advantage of the opportunity, and rummage through his trash can. After finding nothing suspicious, they even check his mailbox, but find no clues. That night, Davey is home alone, as his parents are out for a date night. The doorbell suddenly rings, and to his surprise, it turns out to be Nikki. She enters the house, and begins snooping through his room, where she finds the binoculars. Davey claims that he has never watched her naked. She then starts flirting with him and almost kisses him, but their romantic moment is interrupted by the arrival of Davey's parents. Upon hearing them, Nikki quickly escapes through the window. Elsewhere, a teenage boy is leaving his house late at night. He becomes scared when he senses someone following him. And then all of a sudden, the next day, Davey and his friends begin following Mackey and Woody's mom's car. They notice him going to a hardware store, and purchasing soil and digging tools. After he leaves the store, the boys continue to follow him, but they quickly lose sight of him as Woody drives like a grandma. As if that wasn't enough, they are then stopped by a police car, which scares them, as they believe it's Mackey. But it turns out to be another officer, who scolds Woody for stealing his mother's car and driving illegally. He asks the boys to return home, warning them that a serial killer is on the loose. In the evening, Davey continues to monitor Mackey when he comes home, but realizes that he has switched cars. He informs his friends about it, and suggests that the tools Mackey purchased must be stored in another place. He is then distracted by Nikki, who summons him outside. The two spend some time together. Nikki is emotional and shares her worries that her parents might be divorcing soon. Davey comforts her, and also talks about his suspicions regarding Mackey being the Cape May Slayer. However, Nikki simply laughs, claiming it's impossible because Mackey is a cop and her dad's friend. As the days pass, the boys continue to monitor Mackey, but discover nothing significant. Davey informs his friends one evening that he wants to place a walkie-talkie outside Mackey's bedroom window. Even if they are caught, they can claim they were simply playing manhunt. The others agree, and while Davey goes to do the job, his friends keep an eye on Mackey. They soon notice Mackey carrying a bucket of bleach, and he has bloodstains on his clothes. After Davey fixes the walkie-talkie and gets ready to go, Mackey spots him, so the boy immediately runs away without saying anything. The next day, while Davey goes to deliver newspapers at Mackey's house, he notices the walkie-talkie and tries to connect to it. Just then, Mackey shows up again, and the boy apologizes, saying that they were just playing manhunt last night. When Davey follows Mackey to collect the newspaper's payment, he notices recently excavated land in the yard, which increases his suspicions. After giving the payment, Mackey hears the wave sound on Davey's walkie-talkie, but he brushes it off. In the evening, Davey continues to monitor Mackey's house, but he's shocked to see the latter staring directly at him through binoculars. Afterward, he gathers his friends at the treehouse, and insists that they must dig up Mackey's yard to find out what is hidden there. The next evening, Woody and Faraday follow Mackey during his 11 p.m. jog, while the other two arrive at the house and begin digging. Shortly after, Woody and Faraday notice Mackey heading to a warehouse after his jog. There is a small gap in the door, and when Woody watches inside, he sees a sack labeled "Na-O." Meanwhile, Davey and Tommy continue digging the yard, but they can't find anything. They then decide to enter the small warehouse in the backyard. There, they find a t-shirt with bloodstains, and Davey recalls that this is the same shirt worn by the curly-haired kid. The boys then return to the treehouse, and discuss their findings. Woody mentions that he saw a sack labeled "Na-O" in Mackey's rented warehouse. They discover that it stands for sodium hydroxide. It turns out that this chemical formula can transform organic tissue into liquid, frequently used to decompose roadkill, and can also reduce the foul smell of a corpse. With this information, Davey decides that they have enough evidence and should inform his parents, presenting the evidence they have gathered. However, his parents become enraged and claim that the accusations are serious and unreasonable. They don't believe Mackey could be a killer, and scold Davey for spying and meddling with other people's property. Afterward, Dad takes the boys to Mackey's house, and forces them to confess and apologize for their actions. Davey then tells Mackey everything they've been doing for the past few days and apologizes. Hearing this, Mackey begins laughing and explains that the curly-haired kid Davey saw in Mackey's house a while ago is his nephew, Jamie. He can call Jamie right now to confirm, but Davey's father says it's not necessary. He also apologizes for his child's actions, and Mackey forgives them. Davey still believes that Mackey is guilty, but his friends are done with this whole game. Because of the incident, Davey is grounded by his dad as a punishment. The next day, while Davey is home alone, Mackey shows up, and expresses his displeasure about what happened yesterday. He explains that he doesn't want any bad blood, and wants to improve their relationship as neighbors. Mackey asks what he can do to make things better, and Davey nervously suggests that he could call his nephew Jamie. Mackey agrees and proceeds to head inside, which terrifies the boy. So, he grabs a knife in case things go wrong. After this, Mackey dials a number, but when no one answers, he says that Jamie might be at baseball practice. He offers to come back again, but Davey says there's no need, stating that it was a stupid suspicion anyway, and the boy apologizes. After Mackey leaves, Davey quickly calls the operator and asks for the last number called from his phone. The operator recites the numbers, and Davey is horrified to realize that Mackey had called his own house. In the evening, Davey calls his friends to his house and shares the information. Just then, Davey's mother calls him downstairs, and it turns out that there is a news report on TV that says the Cape May serial killer, Arthur, has been apprehended. Plus, Mackey was the one who arrested him. After being criticized by his mother for his actions, Davey tells his friends that the whole situation seems strange. They suspected Mackey to be the killer, and now he suddenly ended up catching the murderer. Davey suggests that they should break into Mackey's basement, and he knows there's something behind that locked room. He claims that he will take his father's camera and tape the whole thing. However, his friends are not interested and warn that this could lead to serious consequences. Davey points out that tomorrow is the Cape May Festival, and everyone will be there. He just asks his friends to keep an eye on Mackey, while he goes to the basement alone. After a lot of convincing, they reluctantly agree, stating that this will be the last time they will be doing this. The next day, everyone from the town goes to attend the Cape May Festival, including Davey's parents. Faraday, who is at the festival as a lookout, keeps an eye on Mackey. Meanwhile, Tommy is stationed outside his own home, ready to warn if Mackey drives by. Elsewhere, Davey steals his father's camera and breaks into Mackey's house. He asks Woody to stay outside, but Woody cannot bear to send his best friend alone, so he decides to join him. Just then, Nikki shows up and insists that she wants to help them as well. At the festival, Mackey and other cops are rewarded for finishing the city beautification project. It turns out this is the reason he has been purchasing so many tools and soil. Faraday quickly tells Davey that they were mistaken. Mackey was only purchasing garden tools for the project. Frustrated, he announces that he's quitting this stupid surveillance and leaves. Despite this, Davey decides to continue the mission so that he can clear up all his suspicions. Moments later, the trio arrives at the basement, which is completely dark and creepy. They continue recording with the camera, as Davey successfully breaks into the padlocked room. Meanwhile, Tommy is still on lookout duty, but Faraday arrives and claims that they were wrong, and Mackey is cleared of all accusations. Tommy is relieved to hear this, and turns off his walkie-talkie before leaving. Inside the padlocked room, we see the walls decorated with numerous photographs, and then they hear a sound coming from another room inside. Davey opens the door, and discovers that it is a bathroom. They then pan the camera light to a bathtub. And then, behind the curtain, they are horrified to see a decomposed corpse, and we see the same missing teenager in the earlier scene there as well. The three take the distressed teenager out of there, and here Davey realizes that the photos on the walls are of the victims' families. To his surprise, he soon notices a picture of his own family, and realizes that he's the next target. In the next scene, the kids are at the police station, showing the footage to the chief officer. The officer immediately marks Mackey as a wanted criminal and issues a manhunt for him. He is also very impressed with Davey and labels him as a hero. Afterward, Nikki is impressed with Davey's bravery, and gives him a sweet kiss. While heading home, Davey's parents apologize for not believing in him, and they are very proud of what he did. That night, Woody decides to stay at Davey's house since his mother is at work and he doesn't want to be alone. Lots of police officers are still checking Mackey's residence, but he is nowhere to be found. At midnight, while Davey and Woody are sleeping, the attic door unexpectedly opens, revealing that Mackey has been hiding there all along. He carefully makes his way to Davey's room, and then this happens. A while later, Davey and Woody wake up tied and gagged in a police car in an isolated place. The duo quickly manages to untie their bonds and remove the gags from their mouths. Suddenly, Mackey appears at the window. This terrifies the boys, so they quickly run away from there and head into the forest. Mackey uses the loudspeaker and says that he has a surprise for them, and now they are going to play a real manhunt. The boys continue to run through the forest, and Woody suddenly slips into a spot where there are many dead bodies. It turns out that Mackey used to dump the bodies of his victims at this place. Woody says he does not want to die, but Davey promises that he won't let him die, since he was the one who dragged him into this mess. He then asks Woody to go to the car while he distracts Mackey. After saying this, he runs away and calls the murderer to come after him. Moments later, while Davey is hiding behind a tree, the psychopath slashes him in the leg. He then turns his attention to the other boy and chases after him. Woody manages to get to the car, but unfortunately, Mackey catches up to him. He then slits the poor boy's throat, ending his life. Later, a horrified Davey walks towards the car, and is devastated to witness his best friend die. Just then, Mackey grabs him, and states that Davey ruined his life and threw him out of his house. He asserts that he wants to kill him right now, but that is not enough. He wants Davey to live in constant fear of the day when he returns for him. Mackey then promises that one day, he will prove Davey's fears right, and come back again to kill him. After saying this, Mackey drives away, leaving the injured Davey behind. Shortly after, Davey is found by a passing driver, who gives him a ride. As they leave, we see Mackey's police car being burned down on the highway to cover his tracks. Davey is then admitted to the hospital, where his parents express relief that he is still alive. After fully recovering, Davey returns home, but he is no longer the same boy as before. He is deeply traumatized. In the final scene, Davey decides to return to his part-time job as a deliveryman. Nicky, who is leaving the town, waves him goodbye. He then notices Tommy and Faraday demolishing the treehouse, but they don't even acknowledge him because they blame him for Woody's death. Eventually, Davey finds himself in front of Mackey's empty house, now marked with police tape. He unfolds a newspaper with a photo of Mackey, accompanied by a caption stating that the Cape May killer is still let loose.